2011, we had a great year. And so then it's just been climbing every year since then.
The local housing market at its strongest point since the start of the Great Recession. More on that and other positive economic indicators for Coon Rapids. Plus, an explosion and fire at an Anoka business and 2 very lucky employees inside at the time. But first,
it's an election that, we've never seen anything like.
The home stretch for the candidates in a historic presidential race as Americans prepare to cast their ballots. That top CTN News is Friday, November 4th, 2016. Thank you for joining us in what seems to be a never-ending campaign. The 2016 presidential election is finally drawing to a close.
People across the country will be heading to the polls on Tuesday to cast their ballot to determine the next leader of the United States. And here in Anoka County, voters we talked to this week are split on which candidate they are supporting and why. CTN's Joe Nelson has more.
A lot of people are thinking they'll be happy when it's over.
As the presidential campaign season comes to a close, voters in Anoka County have strong opinions about what they want in a commander-in-chief. Unfortunately, the 2 major candidates, they say, don't quite fit into those categories.
It appears that way, that very few people are satisfied with either one of their choices, but they're resigning themselves to the lesser of 2 evils.
They're both actually acting a little immature.
I'm a tiny bit disappointed in the candidates.
Support of a candidate may be overshadowed by preventing their opponent instead.
I'll be voting for Hillary Clinton, even though I don't personally like her all that much.
But I will be voting for Trump.
I'm definitely leaning towards Gary Johnson.
I didn't decide yet whom I'm going to vote.
Oh yeah, I'm voting for Mickey Mouse. There's no other way about it, man.
Anoka Ramsey Community College political science instructor John Herbert says the unpopularity of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump could affect Tuesday's turnout.
That excitement level is not there, and the get out the vote is so important, and I think some people are just going to maybe sit this one out if it's not convenient.
I actually feel like my vote really matters.
The elections, I think it's all a joke.
The winner will likely face some major challenges in office.
Trump, if he gets elected, all these people he said bad things about, he's going to have to try to work with to get something done. For Hillary, it's just the fact that she's got a trust issue. And so anything that she does, one of the issues will be what is her motivation.
Herbert says the traditionally conservative Anoka County is now unpredictable as demographics continue to change. As for the nation,
most people right now are expecting Clinton to win, but the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, so maybe anything could happen on Tuesday.
This week, in the first ever mock election involving high school students across the state, Trump beat Clinton by 2%, but third parties and write-ins accounted for more than 30% of the vote. Steve and Karen, Coon Rapids high school students favored Clinton over Trump by 51 votes.
Well, at least the enthusiasm is there.
Yep, we'll see if it carries over in the general election.
I think everyone will just be happy to have it done with, hopefully.
I think so.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Residents continue to turn out in big numbers to vote absentee in this year's election. This was a scene at the Coon Rapids City Center on Thursday afternoon. A steady stream of people lined up to cast their ballot before the November 8th election. So far, more than 4,000 absentee ballots have been cast in Coon Rapids, and there's still 2 more days to vote absentee. City Hall will be open Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and again on Monday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. the day before the election. Be sure to bring along proper ID in order to cast your ballot. If you're not registered to vote, you can do so at the polls on Election Day.
In addition to the big national race, voters in Coon Rapids will also be deciding several local races. There's 4 seats on the city council up for re-election. In Ward 1, Brad Greskoviak is facing off against Julia Stevens. In Ward 2, it's Bill Kiker and Greg Leone. They are going head-to-head. And in Ward 4, Jenny Geisler is being challenged by Chuck Filipsik. And for the at-large seat, incumbent Steve Wells is running unopposed. Members of the State House and Senate are also up for election. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Election Day. And after you vote, a reminder to tune in to CTN on Election Night. Our live coverage begins at 8 p.m. on air and online. In addition to all the results, we'll have interviews with the winners and hear from our outgoing city council members.
In other news, thick dark smoke could be seen for miles Wednesday following an explosion and fire at an Anoka business. The blaze broke out just before 4 at North Star Towing, which is located on the north side of Highway 10 near 7th Avenue. Authorities say some sort of explosion occurred inside a building while 2 employees were working on a vehicle. Both men were able to escape and were not injured. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. It took crews nearly 2 hours to bring the blaze under control.
A Coon Rapids man accused of kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and killing a 5-year-old girl now faces life in prison following a grand jury indictment. Late last week, the Cass County Attorney's Office announced the indictment against 25-year-old Zachary Anderson. He now faces 19 criminal charges, including first-degree premeditated murder, which carries a life sentence. In the early morning hours of August 20th, 5-year-old Alana Ertl went missing from her home in Meeker County. Anderson, who had been staying with the girl's family, was discovered later that day at a cabin in rural Cass County. He led authorities to Ertl's body in a nearby swamp. The medical examiner says the little girl died from strangulation and blunt force trauma to the head.
Residents in the southern part of the city turned out this week to learn more about a level 3 sex offender who recently moved to town. The community notification meeting was held Wednesday night at the Coon Rapids City Center. 35-year-old Joss Dexter moved in with family in the 8700 block of Norway Street last month. He has previous convictions in Kanabec County for criminal sexual conduct involving 13 and 14-year-old girls he knew when he was a teen himself. Dexter has previously lived in Coon Rapids as an adult.
Now, you probably know that Coon Rapids has residency restrictions. They're pretty new. And so you may be wondering, why is he living here if we have residency restrictions? Because he's able to, the law allows him to. He's living with family, and so that's part of what allows him to live here.
The police department says the meeting was held to provide knowledge and community awareness and not fear. There are more than 600 registered predatory offenders living in Anoka County, with more than 100 in Coon Rapids.
Dog owners in Coon Rapids now face a misdemeanor penalty if they fail to get their pet a rabies vaccination. On Tuesday night, the City Council adopted an ordinance that lays out the penalties for failing to get a dog vaccinated. Under current city code, dogs must have a rabies vaccine to be licensed. Dogs found not to be vaccinated, whether licensed or not, can be impounded. The city plans to use its Citizens Awareness Project, otherwise known as the CAP program, to deal with violators. As long as the person successfully completes the program, they will not have a criminal conviction on their record. New data out this week shows the economy added 161,000 jobs in October, and the national unemployment rate dipped to 4.9%.
Annual wage growth is also surging to levels not seen since before the Great Recession. Here in Coon Rapids, the economic indicators are also going in the right direction, with growth in a variety of areas, including the housing market. CTN's Jordan Rylance reports.
We've continued to see a fair amount of construction activity, even more than in 2015.
The 2016 third quarter report is showing the strength of Coon Rapids' economy through new construction projects, housing prices, and building permits. In 2015, the city issued 660 permits, totaling nearly $12 million. In 2016, the number of permits issued was down slightly, but the value of the permits more than doubled at over $25 million.
It's just continued to climb out of the tough times that we were in, continue to climb. Home prices, the home values have gone up 160 and 2 years ago to 190. That's a significant increase in value for the average home price.
The housing market in Coon Rapids is the strongest it's been since the recession, and now supply and demand for homes is at an all-time high.
We've seen in Coon Rapids sale prices continually increase over the last couple of years. The number of properties that are on the market is very low.
In addition to rising property values, state figures also show that employment in Coon Rapids is on the rise, with wages increasing by 3.2% annually since 2007.
Coon Rapids is a great city. I mean, there's a lot of activity going on. They're just continuing to grow. The city just has a lot of things that have come together here. It's a great place on the north side here.
In Coon Rapids, Jordan Rylance, CTN News.
Development data from July through September, first quarter state employment and wage figures, and housing activity from the North Star MLS are included in the report.
The property an old flower shop sits on off Coon Rapids Boulevard is being rezoned. On a split vote Tuesday night, the City Council voted to rezone the Pedersen Floral site and surrounding area from office, general commercial, and moderate density residential to high density residential. The area is being rezoned, is a total of 2.3 acres, and that includes the old flower shop. Firm Ground Architects and Engineers Incorporated is proposing a 98-unit apartment building on the site. Those plans still need to be presented to the city and approved by the Planning Commission and Council.
You can now use your smartphone to pay for Metro Transit bus and train fares. The new Metro Transit app, which was released Thursday, can be downloaded on iOS and Android devices. It will allow you to purchase a bus or train fare in advance. Then just show your electronic ticket to the bus driver or police officer checking fares on light rail or North Star commuter rail trains. The new app also allows Metro Transit customers to access schedules and route maps and get real-time updates on arrival and departure times. And before we go, a well-deserved honor for the Coon Rapids Recycling Coordinator. Colleen Sinclair recently received the 2016 Recycler of the Year Award from the Recycling Association of Minnesota. Sinclair was nominated by Anoka County Recycling and Resource Solutions for her dedication and outside-the-box thinking when it comes to offering residents different options for recycling. Our congratulations to Colleen for the big honor. She definitely does a lot of work. She's really expanded that recycling program over the years over there.
It's a winner. Thank you, and thank you for watching.
And we should also mention, don't forget to set your clocks back 1 hour this weekend
that's
and
right.
change those smoke detectors. And join us back here on election night for complete coverage.